I don't want Ben to do the jingle.
No, jingle it. Yeah, well, we're on now anyway, so I think you're going to have to jingle it, bring Reno.
Oh, fuck. All right, guys, an Aussie special. No, I don't want to do it. We're not jingling. We'll work on it tomorrow.
Fair enough. Well, hello, welcome to 10 Talk Live, the pod. We're pretty remote at the moment. I'm here, Duff, on the Gold Coast. We've got the boys up on the sunny coast. The Schlick, he's the in-house guest. He's been the man around the town today, the behind the scenes, and then the beatbox. How we doing, boys?
The box, not my name, mate, but doing good. Mate, nice quick day down on the beach today, to be absolutely honest, especially in the open men's area. They got everything done as fast as you can imagine, I guess, SLSA getting events done. So all in all, like I said, open men's area, 19 men's area was humming. So yeah, mate, I was back at the accommodation 1:30, watching Rush Hour 2, the aircon. So everything was good.
And look, it was a good movie, by the way. Good choice.
Yeah, good movie. Jake Chan, Chris Tucker.
Yeah, good actors, aren't they? For those that weren't on the beach and those that weren't around Aussies, the men's area, it looked like it was iron heats in the morning, then rolled through pretty well the skis for the rest of the day. Is that correct?
No, so it went, we had iron straight up. Then we went into the surf races through the semis, then board races through the quarter. Then we went straight into some double skis, and I think we finished with the tube rescue this afternoon.
No, that did not run, the tube rescue.
Tube rescue's not good.
I had a little look because I knew they were having tube rescue finals. I didn't quite get there with the tube rescue. So I guess let's start with just what's it like up there? What's the vibe like? What's everyone's feel about being at Maroochydore? It looks like surf was on, and I think when the surf's on, it's always good fun, isn't it?
I must admit, like even walking over the hill or whatever, first look at the beach today and it was kind of like, oh my gosh. Like if you were to pick probably your perfect racing conditions, if you're probably like a 10 in Linden that just frosts at the mouth of like, this is sick. And what worked, I guess, in everyone's favor, it was like long swell period and there was thumpers, but there was also lulls. So I'd say that, again, it was hard to not be excited to, and again, you kind of had to cross your fingers on the star line and hope you got out clean. I do think the energy, and as I said, kind of as a spectator just observing, and I know how hard all these athletes have worked and trained and, 48 weeks of training to sort of rock up and be greeted with a ski first iron in those conditions. I kind of was feeling for everyone. Of just like, wow, this is literally do or die. Some of the heats were stacked. I remember seeing one of the heats, it was literally like running across the line, the top 8, could have been a summer surf, like final top 8, just the way the draw worked. But I think all around, everyone was just frothing. There was like thrills and spills. I would say everyone did amazing though, considering the surf, how big it was. Everyone was so smart that, there was realistically only 10 meters that could really hurt you going out and in. For the most part, people nailed it. And then obviously coming in, sometimes you did have to roll the dice and, there was carnage. And then I would say too, the women, just the nature, you've got 5 areas, right? Under 17 men, which they had like 260 to the board race. So they had their own arena, 2 open men, which I guess somewhat unfortunately meant there was 3 women's age groups in the open women's arena. And to the nature of it, looking at even some of the open women's field sizes versus the juniors, like the youth age groups had so many numbers. So it did mean that a lot of the open women did sit till probably 11 before they did their first heat.
Wow.
But at the same time, what do you do when you've only got sort of maybe 5-6 heats versus 17 women? I'm assuming there was like maybe 10, So again, I'm sure that if you were an open athlete, you would have maybe said, I wish we got to go earlier, but people just doing their best and, they got through their iron is up to the semis and the obviously the skis up to the final. And I believe that the 17 and 19 women are all progressed through those as well. But yeah, everyone did well, vibes are high, and it's only day one. So,
jeez, if that's day one, that sounds like it was just a full-on day. And I know beach, you're saying you got off the beach early, but it sounds like there would have been a few people on the beach all day and would have had plenty of events to do. In terms of the iron heats this morning, you guys were there and you were obviously racing beats, and hats off to you, mate. You had a great little heat. I know you're selling it down and pushing it down, but it's the Australian titles. It's a heat win, and if we're talking to summer surf, it's an automatic qualification. You're in that big dance, so it's still it's something that you can I take away from it. And I know my phone blew up straight away. There was a few people happy that the box got across the line, and I know you're sort of selling it short, but merit where merit's due. But there were definitely a few that really had to fight it out. I think the big ones that I sort of heard was Bevy there, big sprint up the beach for him in 8th, and then in the women's field, there were a couple of real close calls. Lana Rogers 9th, they're taking 9 through, which is pretty generous numbers. Like 9 qualifies is generous, and then obviously we had some miss as well. But let's talk about the close ones first. Bevy in 8th and Lana in 9th. Scary.
Yeah, exactly what Ben said. Like ski first, that 3 to 4 foot, outer bank that was like basically breaking on nothing. Like, Bevy's like it made it, quite clear through the week that like this is his 52nd, 53rd week of non-stop training all the way through to Aussies. And so, for one of our best Ironmen to have a scare like that pretty early, I think it was kind of like a bit of an eye-opener for everybody. But obviously the professional he is, he worked his way back into the race and secured 8th with a clean set of heels. But mate, there was lots of people in some hairy spots all morning. So there'll be a lot of people, just happy to get that one out of the way and off the back, moving through the quarters tomorrow morning. As for the women's, like I said, I can't really speak for, the races down there. I didn't see a lot of them. What I can tell you is that they drew the short straw. They have the biggest area. Like the waves and the water rolling in those areas is absolutely huge, and all handling themselves really, really well. But like you said, mate, it's scary. That first one, like I said, it rattles a few cages, and like I said with Lana, like she was lucky to just kind of sneak through in that first heat.
And I would say 2 things. Firstly, Paulie said it, like athletes, and again on 10 Talk TV, check it out, Paulie. He said, like, again, athletes don't mind if you're in the final and a big wave sort of messes your race, you can live with that. But in round 1, and as I said, secondly, I actually did walk down and watch the first round of the Open Women's Iron. And man, they had a couple where the whole field was just sitting in that break zone, and it was fully, should I stay, should I go? 1 or 2 would roll the dice, maybe 1 would get out, a couple wouldn't. So the results, online, obviously for the most part, cream rising to the, top, etc. But like I watched the Lana one, and she, again, if you fell off your ski, the rips, the way the water was moving, there was no way to get back to shore, almost short of bloody putting your hand up and getting a ski. Like you just would not move. So again, every time I look though, the women were being incredible, making smart decisions, and how nerve-wracking, right, is you are paddling out, and like, yeah, but too, man, it's awesome at the same time, right? Is you do get rewarded if you can get out clean on the ski.
No, it sounds like it's are the women in the northern area or southern area?
Northern area. They're like nearly in front of the surf club, I guess. And yeah, like honestly, it's noticeably half a foot to a foot bigger. And any time I look down the beach, it felt like the swell was more consistent as well. Both the male areas had like a handy little rip kind of either side. So I think certainly the carnage was, I guess, minimalized a little bit. Whereas like down to the women's area, it looked like they were just dealing with, just so much water all the time.
Yeah, being there at the youth over the weekend, the 15s were up in that area, or at least the 14s, 15s, and it was noticeably bigger, and even the course longer with that break being a lot further. And sorry if you can hear the kids going off in the background. It's feeding time at the zoo here in the Duff household, but I'll be able to escape the zoo in a couple of days when I'm up there on the land with you boys on Friday, and big plans for Friday, obviously. Let's talk about, I guess, the sad part where people have to miss out. People do get eliminated and knocked. A couple of big names knocked. Fletch in the men's, Brielle, Emily Doyle in the women's,
and the board.
Borgie. Well, Borgie. Does it?
What do you get knocked in?
No, I think Borgie's still alive. Sorry, Fletcher.
Someone says Borgie then.
Board race.
No, sorry, my bad.
Nah, sorry. I mean, Corey was in the board race. Just to clarify.
Oh, so he was knocked from
not the iron. He's still over the iron.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, Duff. Ben's new to the dynamic, dude. He's just doing his best over here. He's interrupting where he shouldn't. Just let the boys go, mate. You'll figure it out. All right, just let it go. Let it go.
Factual journalism. Thank you. Is Corey still going in the iron?
Yeah, so Corey's still going around the iron. He got very unlucky in his board heat this morning, along with a lot of people on the beach. But Duff, keep rattling off.
Yeah, all right. And then in the ski, Danny McKenzie, Piper Harrison, the Viper, knocked in the ski. And obviously we know the quality of both of them. So I think we can probably all put it down for those that weren't there. And obviously I haven't watched any of the races, that it's definitely not from the quality of the athlete that they're being knocked. It's probably, I think to say, have to do with the surf for the most part.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the bittersweet side of it, right? Like sometimes it's just not up to you. And I think, that can work for a lot of people. Like I know that I certainly raced, free of a fair bit of expectation this morning, knowing that, you can do everything right and you can make all the right decisions. But, ultimately, the ocean's going to have its say, and you kind of have to just, you're at its beck and call with that sort of stuff. So like I said, like Fletch will have plenty of events on, but like I said, crazy to watch him miss out this morning in a board. Like he's been the best board paddler all year, obviously won the Summer of Surf Series. So there'll be a few boys quietly happy that they won't see that yellow board trying to do them up the beach this year in the finish.
For sure, 100%. Just around the grounds, let's sort of talk around the grounds. What was some of the, I guess, the highlights? And I know you boys are going to speak mainly from the men's arena since that's where you mostly were. And I saw that you uploaded on the story as well, Reno. Double ski with the People's Champ, Kev. What happened there? You ski paddle, Kev. Broken shore. What's happened?
So quick one, and again, I'm very risk averse, scared of everything. And Corey Taylor was, entered with Kevy, and Corey's like, man, I'm not doing a double ski. And I'm kind of going, and he goes, there's a spot, Reno, if you want to jump in. I asked Corey, and even Corey's like, no way would I get in. And it was almost like jumping in a rally car. I'm going to be in the back seat, going way too fast, going waves I don't want to do. And I asked Corey and I asked Paulie, and they both were like, I would not get into a ski because, as I said, if a set came, Kev's going to go. And I'm like, poor me, he's going to be at the back. So anyway, sure enough, Kevy convinces me, and I was like, you know what, let's go. And hilariously, we are paddling out. And exactly what I didn't want to happen is I see this absolute, the sky started going black on me. And I'm like, Kevy, and I'm almost backpedaling, like, Kevy, can we please not go? And then he's like, go. So anyway, sure enough. And we honestly hit this thing as fast as you can. It was fully pitched. And we come up, and again, you kind of close your eyes, try balance, brace for impact. And then we land, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And there was kind of another one. I was like, we got to paddle. And then Kevy's just paddle is just not working. So anyway, I was like, all right, I'll get us out of trouble. And then we're paddling, and Kev's got, the blade on each end, and he's doing these little teaspoon strokes. And anyway, the whole thing with Kev, he's like, man, I just want to go around the cans. He's obviously got a lot on, say, in the mornings with the irons, and it was finally a chance to have a go. And me, pretty cool to be able to jump in with, say, Kevy on something like that, right? Obviously, massive part of Surf New Zealand, etc. Great guy, so just a bit of fun. Anyway, we paddled round, and of course, we're like, oh, we're not going to have got through as you would, right? We've realistically got me paddling and I'm not fit or fast or etc. And then sure enough, we cross, and then when they're calling out the names, it was Northcliffe's through. And yeah, what was cool, just the hype and all the boys that were just cheering.
Yeah, that's epic.
And the chat was hilarious, but good things come to an end, mate. We got 11th in the Tremie final, so 31st men's double ski. Which I would then say highlight definitely. Man, that open men's double ski, again, one of the very cool, unique races, especially the surf was gnarly.
There was only as far as I'm aware anyway, there was only the two finals today, the open men's double and the 19 men's double. There was no other finals. The 17 surf teams were scheduled to final. That didn't run. So those 17s would have been, I guess, hard up against it. The women's board relay was meant to run. That didn't happen. So the only medals handed out today in the ocean were in those men's double skis in the 19s and in the men's. So talk us through the open race, Reno. It's obviously, you got a little clip up on the 10 Talk podcast Instagram, but talk us through the race. You were there watching. Did Burley crew
honestly, it was made as pretty much a lull for the most part. 1-2 for whitewash. They got out, as I said, you can't really see, right? And it came down to Burley on one side, and then North Burley. So that's quite funny. I'm not even sure who was in the
other. It would have been Murray Stewart and Dan Bowker.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, it became a drag. And again, Locky Tame starts claiming it. So,
Yeah, so Duff, I was watching the live stream and it looked like the boys from North Burleigh proper split the field. They probably had, I reckon, 4 or 5 boat lengths on the way home, nearly pulled down a little runner. And then, like I said, Locky Tame just did Locky Tame things, to be absolutely honest, mate. Like, he's just such a winner. He's just such a winner. Like, we talk about, like, Georgia and, Ali and all that sort of stuff being winners. Locky Tame doesn't know how to do anything except win when he sits in a boat. And I obviously no disrespect to Pete Mitchell, but it just looked like he was willing that boat to victory. Like, as soon as I saw that nose tip down, I just thought, like, I just didn't see him getting beaten from there. So obviously commiserations to a strong North Burleigh team. But like I said, those North Burleigh boys had a great race. And like I said, Locky Tame, man, you just don't want to end up on the same race. It's that simple.
One thing that we haven't missed Locky Tame in is his Flighty's Odds tag team. We have been on a real stretch when he's been out of action because he actually pulled himself from the team for the last month. So he didn't get injured for the Aussie title. So it's all come to fruition. It's all worked out for him. But
it's funny. It's funny because he makes out as if, he's kind of this part-time guy now where he's not doing too much. And now it all comes out in the wash that he's sitting out for, he's not playing touch anymore because he's concentrated on rugby. So maybe he's not the people's champ that we think he is.
He did tell me 36 sessions is what he's done.
What actually happened was he was playing up until the state titles. And then I think he might have picked up a little injury at the state titles. And then I think it was groin, and it was like, well, I can't actually maybe run on it and inflame it and miss out on the Aussie. So I thought I'll put myself on ice for at least the next month. And tell you what, the boys haven't missed in one bit. We have been sweet as a whistle. It has been pristine football.
Yeah, because he fancies himself in the egg ball too, hey? But like a little rugby league background.
He's handy enough. He's no Duff wearing the 7 on his back, but he goes all right. The Newport boys.
Nobody is.
The Newport boys, Brooksy and Jake Reese, another one for the good guys, round out the podium. So that's an A-class trifecta there. Obviously, Locky Tame and Pack Up Pete.
Yep.
Murray Stewart, Olympian Dan Bowker. He's been around the traps for years, and they've obviously jumped back over to North Burleigh, where I know Dan Bowker spent a lot of his time. And then the Newport boys, they're very proud Newport boys, so they'd be very happy with those points and put one on. In the 19s, I think it was Newport as well. So Maguire Reid, and look, he's got to be red hot for that singles in the 19. We saw his power in the summer surf throughout the year, and I think he jumps back in, and he'd be really hard to beat in that 19s with Bailey Clues. And then 2 of the Swansea Belmont, so 2nd and 3rd for the under-19 cruise, the Swansea Belmont cruise. So good one for the Nova Castrians as well. Did you watch that race, Reno?
Unfortunately, I ducked back to more prep for this, do some socials. I have no reception ability to upload stories there, just obviously getting smashed all the towels or whatever. But I would say what was cool is it was like, geez, if this is the sort of the atmosphere that finals are going to be raced in, like it was, it was pretty awesome. And seeing the emotion of, say, when you see a guy like Locky Tame fighting back tears in an interview, you sort of see how special it means to everyone. And, I think just the way the sport's going and everyone's had such a big summer, and, I'm sure we're largely sort of trying to wrap this up because I know people are, but that's just the thing that was awesome, right? Just how happy everyone was to be there, seeing, parents doing lunchbox drop-offs to their kids and putting sunscreen on.
Lunchbox drop-off, isn't there?
Just everyone.
Do you want to just touch on that? The lunchbox drop-off? What happened with that?
Yeah. So the Tracy Morris, right? Which, the Morris boys. So there's 3 of them. Plus Az is, floating around the tent, and she's come with all these containers. She must have stayed back at the ACOM and cut up bits of watermelon and stuff. And she's literally, I saw her and she asked me, oh, where's, Zach sitting? Where's Jake sitting? Where's Mitch? And then she's put it into their esky. And then while that's happening, I'll look over there and Odin Parrish's mum's like putting sunblock on Joe Collins. It was just cool to see, like, again, it's just truly like whatever needs doing, someone's there to do it to help an athlete do well. But I think, shout out to just people that have made it happen, right? People that have booked ACOM, like, the officials that are there, the water safety, just everything really. Coaches, managers, parents.
I don't want to hold you boys too long because I know you want to get some dinner and sort of rest up for tomorrow and everything. I've got 2 more questions. One will go back in time a little bit. So there was a really good atmosphere on the beach because I'll be 100% honest, being there on the youth weekend in the individuals, they really missed the mark. There was no atmosphere whatsoever. They were trying to raise finals across 3 different areas that you wouldn't even know there was a final on. There was none of the Aussie music that it is accompanies a final. They definitely cleaned it up on the Sunday with the teams, but there was a really good atmosphere. I'm hoping Schlick.
Yeah, mate. I would say like it was nearly kind of like self-imposed. Like Ben said, like everybody kind of just brought the vibes, mate. Like I think this year we've been just subject to kind of like surf falling out the sky and it being nearly too hard to deal with, or it's been dead flat. Like we just haven't had that happy medium. And I think when everybody hit the beach today, saw the conditions, like there was not really like not a breath of wind basically till kind of midday. Like everything was just perfect. So I think like everybody was just in good spirits. Day one, everybody's excited about, you know, the promise of the week. So yeah, like I said, I guess, you know, it's probably, you know, less of an organisational thing through SLSA, but I think everybody just turned up with the right attitude. I think, you know, we're so used to summer surfs where it's kind of do or die, right? Like all afternoon, all day, both days is kind of like your whole set or your whole weekend is on the line. Whereas I think like you kind of ease yourself into it with Aussies. Like I did 1 iron and a couple of boards and was lucky enough to get through some stuff. And I feel like that's a nice way to start. So I think that was very much the vibe today. Everybody's just excited to see each other and just, you know, start off with a couple of light races. Obviously excluding that double ski final. So it was just a perfect start.
Yeah, go Rick, go Schlick.
And the double ski, remember the double ski, you know, at a summer surf, remember we're kind of that is the first off. That's the first race happening while the double ski is happening. So I think it was more that, you know, it was just at the end of the day, the only final of the day. I would say too, interestingly, from my understanding, the main finals will probably be in that women's area. So that could be interesting. But anyway, other than that, mate, one said 10's up, I think.
Has anyone rolled in with like a Carl Webb style haircut where they've put a queue into the side of the head, or has anyone done anything for the Aussies sort of festivities of it all and rolled in with a Mount Pool pink hair, or what's the best that you saw?
There's been plenty. Yep. There's plenty of dudes. A few of the Surfers boys shaved their heads. I saw Ollie Monahan rocking just plain, slim shady blonde. I think I saw another cat walk around the men's arena with pink hair as well. There's a few mullets. So, mate, there's plenty of that stuff going on.
Anything you want to close with, boys?
No, mate, looking forward to having you up here. Reno had obviously a great day on socials as well. So anybody who listens to this and can't get enough of us, head over to the socials. Reno's keeping you up to date with everything. But like I said, mate, excited to have you up here. Yeah. Big things for Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And I would just say apologies. Like, man, I was handling, helping. I did a couple of races, so I couldn't get up to the women's area. And, you know, a lot of athletes were fully in the zone. So it was obviously quite hard, like irons, boards. It was pretty hectic. So, but if you are around and want to jump on 10 Talk TV, like the offer's always there. It's, you know, it's probably more me just being like, I don't want to annoy an athlete who's
100% and
race at the highest.
And look, we're hoping that come Friday, Saturday, even the Sunday aftermath, that we're going to be able to bring a bit more 10 Talk TV and I guess give people that love and breathe the sport, because there's so many out there that just can't get enough, that we can hopefully fill that cup as much as we can. And it'll probably be a bit like this for the next sort of night as well, Thursday night. But then Friday, Saturday, we've got grand ambitions and big plans. Whether we can pull them off, yet to be seen. And I've had great big issues these last couple of days on my end personally. So hopefully it all gets sorted, all gets there. But until then, tense up, baby.
Tense up.
We up.